Welcome back to the author's note. Today we're going to talk about shale. In the last 2 years, US production of oil has, thanks to the shale boom, risen 1.3 million barrels a day. That's equivalent to the entire production of Libya. The boom has revolutionized global oil and gas markets. It's also helping to spur a recovery in the US manufacturing economy. Joining us today to talk about this is Javier Blas, our commodities editor. So Javier, start off, just tell us, what is the shale boom all about?
Well, it's a huge increase in US oil and natural gas production, tapping geological structures that previously were very difficult for technical reasons to extract. What companies are doing is drilling vertical wells and then going horizontal, so to reach a lot of the potential pockets of oil. And at the same time, they're injecting fluid inside, and a technique that is called hydraulic fracking. And they are just breaking up the rock, and that is allowing oil to get to the wells, and that is just making that some areas of the United States were producing very little oil, like North Dakota. Suddenly they are becoming huge producers of crude oil.
I think we can see a chart here of production in North Dakota. There you go. You can see in the last couple of years it's risen from only a couple of 100,000 barrels a day to more than 700,000.
And as you say, the boom just started around 2008. That's the moment when oil prices hit $150. That spurred a lot of capital, a lot of new technologies going into the oil industry, and suddenly the result is that production in North Dakota is just going absolutely vertical, but the same thing is happening in other areas of the United States, including Texas.
And how is this impacting oil markets? Because the last I read or wrote, the price of oil was still pretty high. It's above $110 a barrel.
Well, international prices, so outside the United States, the price of oil, say the price of Brent crude, that is the global benchmark, remains very high. It's almost a year high of around $117. But if you look in these areas, like North Dakota, Texas, the price of oil is much lower. It's around in some areas $90, in some areas as low as $60, because this huge increase in production has, well, surprised the industry. There is no pipelines to take all the oil back into the markets, and suddenly there are pockets of regions in the United States where actually there is too much oil.
And let's just see the next chart, because I think that this shows the total US oil production. Of course, if that's all happening in a few pockets of the country, then you end up with a lot of oil.
Well, you end up with a lot of oil production, and more that is coming. Last year, the annual increase in production in the United States was the highest that we have seen since the oil industry started in the United States in about 150 years. In this chart that is just going back a century, we see that oil production in the United States peaked around the second oil crisis in '79, and since then, with ups and downs, have coming down until 5 years ago, when suddenly production of oil in the United States started to increase very rapidly, just as internal demand, the consumption in the United States was starting to decline. And this combination is just, redrawing the global oil map.
So surely this means that at some point